describe your expectations versus reality in one word. Go.
Like for the
Yeah,
show?
go. Yeah, for
show.
the episode that we watched tonight.
Wow.
One word.
I want to think of a better word.
That's not the point of this exercise, but okay.
Subadequate.
Oh!
Winter is coming.
Where are my dragons?
In the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die.
The things I do for love.
A Lannister always pays his debts.
Chaos is a ladder.
Hodor.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
We
are
the
Rewatchers
Rewatchers
on the
on the
wall. And how many horses? 2,000, Your Grace. And how many elephants? No elephants. You gotta be fucking kidding me. No elephants. Post-coital. I can't believe there were no elephants.
I love how you did the French voice from SpongeBob.
It's the best passage of time voice there is.
That was the best thing I've ever heard you
This was
do.
like un-Cersei voice I've ever heard, too.
Yeah.
I can't believe there were no elephants.
I wish, now that I've heard that reading of that line, I wish that it occurred in the middle of sex.
Oh, are you about to finish? I can't believe there were no elephants. Oh my
It's the
gosh!
face I make when there's no elephants. That's not my organ.
Oh boy!
That's my. You
oh.
forgot the elephant's face?
You expect me to come when you didn't bring elephants? How about you come back from Essos next time with some elephants, and then you can come with some semen, okay? All right.
I mean, he kind of did.
He got a lot of semen.
Yeah.
He got a lot of
He
semen.
killed a
It
few
seems
semen,
so.
apparently, on the way.
Yeah, he left hundreds of thousands of potential children. Okay,
And I'm
here
like,
we go.
Man,
All right.
that urine is such a renegade.
Such a scoundrel, that boy.
He's more than urine. Okay. Hey.
Welcome.
Well, Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1, the one we've been waiting for.
It is the one, yeah.
It really is.
One of
I was
six.
really excited for this.
It's really
Yes.
Yeah, there's only half a season left now.
It really is.
weird.
I mean, they're going to be a little long. Tonight was the shortest episode by like 6 minutes. And it felt quick, but a lot happened.
Yeah.
I was kind of saying before, you have to do table setting. You have to have these reunions. People got to get places. And I don't think that there's a better way to do it when you only have 6 episodes. And they do go beyond it. There are some people in rooms talking. Some of the reunions pack some punch. And whether you like them or not, I didn't think anyone was out of character in them. I think people wanted more from those. But overall, I enjoyed it. And there were some really good moments. A lot went down. And I hope that it did set the table. Which you don't want it to be setting the table, but it's like a pilot. Like, you don't want to have too much exposition. You can't jump in. There's just too much to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
Ooh. Hey, Tyler, why don't you just tell us what happened?
All right, here's everything that happened in Season 8, Episode 1 of Game of Thrones. The Targaryens arrive at Winterfell. Arya sees 3 important men in her life. Tyrion makes dick jokes. Sansa offers them a cold welcome, even by northern standards. Lil baby Umber is sent home to get his army. Lyanna chews out Jon for abandoning the north. Jon Jontificates. Then Tyrion drops the news that the Lannisters are joining them in the north. Tyrion and Sansa reunite, and she tells him he's an idiot for believing Cersei. Jon and Arya reunite in the Godswood and be kind of cute. Kyber tells Cersei the wall is down. Yara is alive. Euron delivers the gold company to King's Landing. Euron did it for the Nookie, and he gets it. Kyber tells Bronn that if Jaime and Tyrion survive, Cersei wants him to kill them. Euron has a bizarre idea of pillow talk. Theon saves Yara, and she sends him to Winterfell. Davos, Tyrion, and Varys discuss noble rulers. Dany takes Jon on a magic carpet ride. Arya and the Hound are reunited. Then she flirts with Gendry. Northern lords are pulling their support, and Sansa blames Jon. Dany meets Sam and thanks him for saving her old man suitor. Then she tells him that she killed his father and her brother. Bran calls nose goes on telling Jon that he's a Targaryen. Sam tells Jon he is the rightful king, and Jon just can't seem to escape people calling him the king. Ed, Beric, and Tormund find Ed at the reunite at the Umbers. The Night King has been there. Oh, and he left some wall art. Jaime arrives at Winterfell and is reunited with Bran. That's it.
You know, the biggest loss of the Umbers dying, which I thought was a great thing. It was one of the first unexpected, exciting things one of the 2 or 3 I really pulled from the episode was I thought they should send the dragons over to eat because the dragons need more food. We learned. I was like, just eat the Umbers.
Why the Umbers?
Because they've betrayed your house
That's the
twice
Glovers.
now.
That's the Glovers.
Oh, the
That's
Glovers.
true, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was like, whoa.
I was gonna say
I get all the northern houses very confused.
That's fair. I mean, they all wear 7 layers of clothes,
and they all end with
Yeah, that's true. Karstark. Fuck.
I just realized I never said welcome to Rewatchers on the wall.
I did.
After we went back to do an intro.
And I felt like an idiot right after I did it.
That's fine.
Find that and just put it at the top. Okay.
I didn't, but I just said welcome, and I was like, nope, that's not my line.
And then you pointed it.
No, you guys are free to do it. After my quote, I was just lost. Because the
I can
quote
tell
was
you were
so
lost.
good.
That's why I started, and I was like, Ayeesh.
The quote was so good that the rest of the intro wasn't even necessary. Okay. Anyway, what character? Riley, pick a character. I feel like there's everyone interacts with everyone. There's so much going on.
Yeah, there's no wrong choice this episode, really.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they titled the episode Winterfell, which
Cool.
even now on HBO Now, it still just says Season 8, Episode 1. They didn't want to release anything. I'm like, Winterfell's pretty basic. I mean, we kind of knew it was all going to be there. Anyway, sorry, Riley. Go give us a character.
Let's just get King's Landing out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do Cersei. 'Cause there's not
Someone
a
did.
ton, but...
Hey!
And I have to say, like, I mean, I don't put like a lot of stock or any of my coins down for this, any of my chips, I should say. But man, I really wish that a person I feared and respected more was banging Cersei. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
Because like when I could tell
So
that they were going
would
to
you
have
say
sex.
that you think that, like, yeah, I feel like there should be more to that. I don't know.
I mean, I just hate Euron so much.
Yeah, I hate him too.
I love Cersei as a character. I hate her as a person.
Yeah.
She could be abstinent for a while.
But like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, nothing with it would make her more angry too. So it'd be great. But man, he sucks. And they go out of their way to be like, hey, look how edgy this guy is, and I don't buy it. And I'm like, man, she just needs someone on her level, you know?
Yeah.
I was surprised that
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
So was I.
surprised.
It seemed like there's some other motivation for that because of her hesitation before. Like, so I feel like there's still some ulterior thing that has to do with her pregnancy. Like maybe she actually isn't pregnant and now she's trying to get pregnant. I don't know. Like that's what it felt like to me in watching it, because it doesn't make I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Like we were saying, like it's just. I don't think that she's just like, well, I haven't had sex in a while.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have sex with this guy. Like, I do feel like there's something else going on.
She read Cosmo and read that it's healthy to, have sex while you're pregnant. It helps the baby, you know?
I think she read Cosmo and read, oh, it's healthy to have sex with people you're not related to.
Yeah.
And it's been a
Maybe I
while.
should try that.
That's crazy. That's one thing that the Bible and Cosmo agree on. Sometimes. New Testament.
Here's my theory. Jamie is going to hear that the baby is imminent. He's never going to quite get in with the homies up north. He's going to come back down and be like, fine, I'm rejoining Cersei. He's going to get there right in time for the birth. He's going to see the brown hair, and then he's going to kill her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You guys thought that was going to be a joke, and it was semi-realistic.
Yeah, no, seriously. I just really didn't want to see them do the deed. When it was about to start, I'm like, please don't show, because I know that Euron is a drool type of guy. He drools his thing, and I really
Eyes
didn't
rolled
want
back, drool dangling. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we didn't see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a whole lot else with Cersei.
Also in King's Landing, Bronn apparently just, I mean, I knew he didn't go with Jaime or Tyrion, but I guess he's just having a good time, literally.
chilling.
3 good times at once. And I guess the setup, and this might be something I kind of find slightly out of belief, is that they give him a crossbow and they're like, well, you're going to get a massive reward if you go kill one of the Lannister brothers. And I know Bronn is not completely humanized or super loyal to them, but it's pretty easy for him to just say no to that offer. Especially if they're letting him leave, then he has money. He can just go. But I wasn't a huge fan of that. I did like that the brothel thing was... The brothel thing?
The brothel thing.
The brothel thing was a total throwback. Remind me of
Thanks,
seasons
Mike.
1 through 3.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. I mean, it is... I feel like it's another one of those things where it's like, seriously, we're bringing all these loose ends together. Everything. The Yara thing was tied up really quickly. We can get to that real quick. Is Yara was confirmed to be alive. She was on the boat, had one awkward conversation with Euron, and then the Iron Islands dude showed up and freed her. And Theon was like, yeah, I guess we could go home. No. And she's like, you want to go to Winterfell, don't you? And he is like, what? And she was like, yeah, go to Winterfell. And he's like, oh. And so now he's going to Winterfell.
Yeah.
Like, that was... I felt like,
He wants
honestly...
to defend the people he betrayed.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Honestly,
it was a sitcom moment.
And like going into this season, I was kind of like, I really hope they don't waste a lot of time on that stuff because I don't care about it that
It's like
much,
you have to wrap it up, so they did good.
Yeah. So
you know
it's
what
good
it
that it's out
reminded
the
me
way.
of? A 90s sitcom where the dad drags the son to a father-son activity, and the son really wants to be somewhere else. And he's like,
And then the dad's like, get out of here.
he's like, you want to go, you want to be at that dance, don't you, son? Yeah, but Dad, we got to do the bowling tournament. Bobby, you get back there to your friends. We can bowl anytime. And then the dad goes to the bar at the bowling alley and starts drinking. And that's how families deteriorate.
Is that actually the plot of that Disney Channel original movie about bowling?
No, Alley Cat Strike? No, it's not the plot at
Oh,
all.
okay.
that movie's
Good
so
movie, though.
good.
The way they
Right
get
on.
the 7-10 split at the end. We've
I think about that every time I bowl.
You know what that's going to be on is Disney Plus. I'm pretty excited.
Disney Plus, you heard it here first.
Hey,
Exclusive
$6.99. Guess who our sponsor is for the day? For some reason, Disney Plus is sponsoring a Game of Thrones podcast.
Turns out they will literally throw money at anything.
Absolutely anything.
Yeah.
You got to compete with Netflix, man.
That's right.
And we will bear that cross for them.
We got you.
Yeah, the whole Yara thing. I'm glad it was wrapped up quick, but I didn't like how they did it. I think you could have wrapped it up quickly, but also, I mean, I feel like Euron should die in that wrapping of that up. So don't do it now. Do it later.
Yeah,
I think Theon's going to
I,
get
I could see that.
I feel like that's because now we just gonna have to deal with Yara and him fighting, which is gonna be lame. Like I'm not invested in that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
It'll
Yara,
be-
but
It'll be weird. I do think it, yeah. I guess for me, it does have to be Theon for it to carry any weight. Like, I'm like, that's like one of the last things you can do.
Yeah.
To sort of redeem yourself. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's if he survives going north though, because he's not that great.
Wait, you think he's gonna die on his way there?
No, like during the battle that's happening up there, I
Oh.
could see him dying.
Gotcha. Yeah.
He runs real fast. And jumps off of
Apparently.
stuff
If he
whenever
rides
danger's
Gendry,
near.
he'd run who knows how fast.
Him and Gendry should have a race.
It's getting real mythological. So yeah, that was what else happened. I mean,
think that was King's Landing in a nutshell.
Oh, we get to meet like a named character who's apparently the head of the Golden Company,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
who apparently is too much of a pansy to put elephants on a ship.
Which I'm like, why would she think that there's gonna ship over elephants? Like that's not, they're huge.
It was funny, but it was also the creators of the show being like, look, we have a massive budget, but it's for battles and dragons, okay? We're not even
Not
going to
doing elephants.
we're still not going to show the last direwolf who is somewhere.
there's not even a column on our Excel spreadsheet for elephants. They were never coming. Elephants were never coming.
Go watch Two Towers. We get it when they call them Oliphants.
Oh my gosh! I just want them to repurpose footage from Return of the King.
That would be really funny.
Didn't they like tease last season? They're like, oh yeah, they have elephants.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah, they totally did. Yeah.
Wow, biting themselves there. Like that was.
Sorry, it was my
stupid.
favorite Cersei moment for at least 3 seasons.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
That was very
That
good.
was good.
I wanted those elephants.
Pillow talk.
Man, I wanted those elephants. Sorry, I did it wrong. First time.
I did a Cersei voice at the beginning, and then I completely ignored it.
Dropped it.
And I was like, where are the elephants? Okay. It wasn't like that either. I do it different every time. Let's go to Winterfell. Which reunion were you looking forward to the most?
I mean, I talked about it last time for sure. Like Arya and the Hound, I was super excited
Yeah.
for, and like, it was underwhelming for me, but also it wasn't bad. Like
It wasn't out of
unrealistic.
character.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, I think that the thing that we're going to confront a little bit this season too is how many romanticized relationships
Yeah.
have been born out of just people being like, this is gonna be rad when it happens, and like a lot of that stuff probably doesn't make sense. So like while like a little disappointed in that, it wasn't out of character.
No, I mean,
you know,
there's some anger, but there's some mutual respect, and that's what came through. What were they going to do? Have a full conversation about it? Especially when Arya's distracted by the big muscles on Gendry. He was rolling all that time just to impress Arya, and I enjoyed their awkward flirtation.
Yeah,
It was cute.
yeah, it was cute.
You've grown.
But yeah, with the Hound, I was hoping at least for like that. I loved everything, and except I would have just loved at the end for him to kind of like tilt a little more.
Yeah,
to be like, yeah, right, kid, and like like that type of thing.
Yeah.
But no, that was a little disappointing to me. Gendry Arya thing, not sure how I felt about it.
I'm here for it.
Good for her.
I mean, that's great. I just man, I had plans. I had lots of plans for those two, and they didn't involve each other.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel a little on the fence about Arya having a romantic relationship,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's mostly born from the idea that we have 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Arya's got shit to do.
Yeah.
And I don't need anything getting in her
But
way.
you want her to live out her days as like this
Yeah,
lonely
listen,
anti-hero Shakespearean character. I want her to have happiness and be humanized.
That's fine, but the show up to this point, that's fine. Put that in the last 5 minutes of episode 6 when you're
Like when Neville and
30 years
Luna during
later.
Deathly Hallows Part 2 were like, I've got the hots for her. What the hell? No, I mean, it's going to be such a subtle background thing, but let it happen. I'd give it a 42% chance that they kiss.
Just do
Well, that's fine. I'm just saying.
Just do it in
I
the
don't want
post-game
that
credit
to.
sequence.
Yeah, I don't want that to be her plot. Like, in
Oh,
this
no,
season, you
I
know
don't
what
think
mean?
they
So,
would. Yeah, you're right. Then again, they
Storybook
screwed her
pages,
last.
dude. They're gonna do the paintings, the storybook pages of each character, like, and Arya and
When
Gendry
Sam's
settled
writing the
down
history.
in a vineyard. Fuck that. Then they left, and then they killed a lot of people in the east because they wanted to.
Is the most
Yeah.
sexist possible ending if Sam is writing the history of Fire and Ice and he gives Jon this long epic tale and Arya's is just like, she ran off to Essos, came back, and fell back in love with that same kid from the beginning. He just completely washes out her
She went somewhere,
badassdom.
did some stuff. That's it.
Sam wouldn't do that. You guys want to talk about Sam? He might have... for some reason, Jon has been there for, it seems like, multiple days,
Yeah.
and Sam wasn't there to greet him.
yeah, that was weird.
What?
Yeah.
But then he has some important moments, and I thought he did a good job. I wanted an even like less of a sad reaction when he found out his dad died, because like
I was
Yeah,
surprised
his
how
dad
sad
was
he
a
was.
dick.
I can understand you being a little bit emotional and like take it all in, and then once his brother, that getting a little bit more sad. But in the end, like your brother was just gonna be like your dad. He should have been like, oh, dope. So my sister gets to, or my mom and my sister get to rule up there now. I don't know. I didn't buy his anger, but I think that animosity and the way it translated to the scene with Jon, where Jon's like, well, like, what was she supposed to do? And him being a little bit irrationally upset, I kind of like it. Sam's growing into such a 3-dimensional character. His arc has developed as well as anyone else in the show. Mm-hmm. Any other Sam, Danny, and then Sam? So the Sam Jon thing's like the most important thing, right? So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird that he showed up so late in the episode, and I understand that there's like not a lot of room for that because they're doing a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, that seems like such an important. It's probably Jon's most important relationship.
Yeah.
In this show, like has been, and so that was interesting. But yeah, I think they did a good job at planting the seeds for some really interesting turns going forward, and really kind of flipping a lot of the Game of Thrones, so to speak, on its head, as far as like letting Jon know, hey, yeah, you are the rightful king of everything, dude. It's exactly what you wanted this whole time, is just to be king of everything. So,
yeah.
He loves that.
poor guy.
Yeah.
Well, and he's in the middle of a rom-com, and he's like, well, crap, now I know the main conflict.
And he didn't really react to finding out that he was like banging his aunt. He was just kind of like, oh,
I
don't want to be king though.
Behind. He just doesn't want to say it.
Yeah.
I don't think at this point that's his main concern as much as like, it seemed like he knew, and he's just like, wow, being the king sucks. This is really gonna piss her off.
I mean, knowing John though, he might not even be connecting those dots yet. Like
That's true.
Honestly, though, like the way this episode played out, it does feel like John is just like, listen, can I just have a happy relationship and live in some hut somewhere?
Yeah.
And like use my sword every once in a while, like, because like his whole thing with Sansa and Dany and just like staying out of it in the worst way possible.
I'm gonna let him work it out. It's not my place.
But I think bringing up like, oh man, this is gonna piss her off so much. Like it was like, that's a bad relationship.
Well, here's the thing. I think in Westeros, by Westeros law, he is the rightful king.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're throwing that crap out and being less sexist, she is the direct descendant of the last rightful king before Robert's Rebellion. Now, if you go by the old laws of the land, then it would not be the daughter, it would be the son's son would come before her in succession. So I get why they say John's first wife is going to be like, screw it, she should be queen. We're going to be together anyway. What's the big deal? And then when she finds out, she's going to be like, I was expecting to marry my brother anyway. Who cares if it happens to be my nephew?
Well, and I do think the bigger thing is not. I don't think it's so much that John will take that, but I think he knows like once this gets out, there are plenty of people who will be like, well, I'm only going to fight for you if you're going to be king or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's setting up interesting dynamics for sure.
I'm just already cringing at the idea of their argument when I guess he tells her like Auntie Dany, Auntie, and then lists off all of her titles, the Unburnt, Chainbreaker, and she's like, can we finish before you bring this up so awkwardly? I don't know. It's just not going to be fun because she's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe you. And then that's the thing is they don't really have proof.
At least it will open the door a little bit for Jorah.
No.
Are you still riding that train?
I have through 200 pages of fan fiction based on them getting together, and it's all going to go to naught if this doesn't work out.
I was in the friend zone one too many times to ever invest in crap like that. You know who my favorite character was, and this is a huge turn for me. I love that Bran's just popping up random places and looking like an annoying creep.
A random place. That's
The
he's
same
in the
place.
same
Is it
place.
really?
It's
Yeah,
the
he
same-
doesn't
No,
move.
it's different parts of
Oh,
it.
I don't know. We'll have to go
was
back
the
and
courtyard
watch.
for a
Technically, the
while.
first time was still that courtyard, just a different spot in the courtyard.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
here's what I'm wondering. Is he pushing himself? Ww's pushing him?
Yeah,
Hodor's
he's
gone.
I think the maester must be. He's like, just drop me here in about 7 hours. Someone's going
Yeah,
to come out of
seriously.
that door, and I've got something really crazy to tell them.
Like, yeah, I don't know how he's getting there. If there's still a part of him that's human in there, he's really loving it. On the inside. He's like, man, this is going to be sick when I'm just here looking off into the distance.
He did get some tact. He was like, Sam, you should tell him you're his bestie. I was hoping right when John walked up and hugged him, he was going to be like, you're the rightful king, and you just had sex with your aunt. You should have pulled out.
Here's something that pisses me off about Game of Thrones has been doing it more and more as the seasons go on, and movies and TV do it all the time, and it bothers me a lot, is that for a dramatic scene change, an end of scene, they'll say something that any normal person, any character they've written should be responding to immediately. Like, oh, what does that mean? And start asking questions about it. But then they just cut, and it's like, oh, I guess, I don't know. It feels kind of insulting to me as a viewer, like when, I'm trying to remember, oh yeah, Bran's like, oh yeah, your dragon died, and then now the Night King has him. No one thought to be like, hey, how do you know that? Like, but nope, Daenerys just like, okay, your brother's weird and somehow knows things. Yeah, like just, I don't know. It pulls me out of things, and it's happening more and more. It happened like 3 or 4 times this episode. Is like this scene ending. They just want to end on a dramatic note, and it doesn't feel genuine.
That's it, because there are some movie moments, like part of this felt really cinematic, really more like a movie than a show, which is interesting because it's also just setting up more episodes, which made those things feel out of place. And so definitely some times when those ended, it didn't feel right. And it's just interesting because some of the writing and the characters are still there, but once in a while I'm just like, how is this like worse? Like, these are the same people writing these episodes. Why is this dialogue not what it used to be?
Yeah.
But they have I think they literally have a different goal right now. It's a different type of storytelling. But it's
a different
tough.
show in a lot of
It
regards.
is,
for sure.
I enjoyed it, but like, there's definitely.
I mean, you did mention the rom-com thing.
Yeah,
with the
that
dragon
doesn't bother me.
rider.
I'm pretty in love with rom-coms.
Well, I mean,
so.
I enjoyed this episode. A lot of things in this episode, like the elephants line. It's a really stupid line,
Yeah.
but it's really fun and
Yeah.
really enjoyable. And so was the whole rom-com dragon riding. Like, it's dumb, but I enjoyed it in a non-Game of Thrones type of way.
Yeah.
In a weird way, which is a weird thing to say.
I mean,
but-
we knew he had to ride a dragon. It's just interesting that it happened in more of a romantic, or like Harry Potter getting his Nimbus or Firebolt.
It honestly
Yeah.
totally feels like a
It-
scene from a Harry Potter movie for sure.
It felt much more like that than like, oh, I've got to get on this dragon right now. And there's also no like explicit like, oh, this must mean he's a Targaryen. She pretty much says something to the effect of, well, if dragons didn't like, she was like, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with my dragons. And
That's what the song is about. I get it now. I've always
Oh
wondered
my
that
gosh.
line.
Baby Spice is dead. No, but it was fun. It was a little cheesy when they got off, and she was like, "Keep your queen warm" and stuff.
Oh, man. And then she's like, "Don't be afraid." And then I assume that's their lead into sex. And it just cuts to a close up of the dragon just like smirking, like and it's a long shot too.
Yeah,
and it's
it is.
like. That's weird, especially
we
then if you think,
know.
maybe Bran's warging and watching all this because
Oh,
that's his
gosh.
And there were definitely some echoes of like her being like, "We could stay here for 1,000 years," just like Ygritte said in the game.
Yeah, honestly, and I was like, oh, like a waterfall
go
type
right
thing.
for it.
Very cold waterfall.
Oh.
Really gets that snow blood.
Yeah, we can stay here
boiling.
forever with all this food that's here, and
And so the question: does everyone know they're somewhat romantically involved? I mean, I think it's obvious. Sansa says like, "Are you in love with her?" or whatever.
yeah, that's another spot where John
But-
should have said something. Like he
Yeah.
would say something.
I like that conversation for the most part, though. Just that he finally couldn't like.
Yeah.
He kind of was actually trying to have a productive conversation, whereas before he was just like, "Oh, she's so mad at me. Oh, she's mad at me too. Oh, Arya's gonna be. Oh, Arya's mad too."
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem with John is like something comes up where it's like the John they've written so far, especially from last season, would have responded here
Yeah.
or would have said something here, but he doesn't, and it I don't know bothered me.
Well, you know, some guys when they get in relationships, they
They
take a back seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you're dating a powerful woman, they can be intimidating. So that's he's just taking a back seat for a little while. We'll see what happens. But when the dragon riding's good,
The dragon riding's good. I guess talk real quick. John and Arya have a sweet hug. He asks if she's killed anyone with, or he's like, "Have you used that thing about Needle?" Which was sweet. They compare swords. It was very jovial. And then at the end, she's like, "Just remember who your family is." And he should have been like, "Hey, I love you. I'm prioritizing the North. That's what this is about." And like, you guys would get along if you would just give her a chance.
Dude, yeah, people just keep biting John's shit this episode, man.
No. That's the thing is, he should have said more, but I don't know what would have been productive.
yeah.
I mean, to be honest, though, that was probably my favorite reunion of all of them. That was
Yeah.
the one that
Yeah.
fit my
I
expectations.
don't know. I
the
wanted
most,
to
and-
make me cry, and I
Yeah,
barely
that's a
watered
good
up.
point. Because like I actually felt more when he first reunited with Sansa, actually, than I felt
Yeah.
today as we watched that. Like that is a good point. Yeah, I don't know. This episode was weird for me.
Yeah.
I think it did a lot, but they
It wasn't
can't
bad,
have another one, right? Like, let's say this episode is 7, and compared to most television, the amount that we know and enjoy these characters and how big and elaborate this world and this conflict is, you have to do things like this. But I don't think you can have 2 in one season that you feel like it wasn't a waste of time. A lot happened, but everyone I feel like the initial reaction is just like more needed to happen. We only have 6 episodes. It's like, what do you mean? They set up everything they had to set up. Because at the last season, everybody is not spread out, but they're all doing something. It had to come together.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm defending the show, but also being like, I don't want another episode that I don't leave elated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely think that this is going to be the hardest episode to think about in that way because we literally have no other context yet for how it fits into the season other than it's the first one. You know,
I mean, it does seem like the battle's happening next episode, or that the episode will end with the battle starting. So I mean, at least there's signs of that moving quickly forward from here. I imagine. I don't know. Do you think that battle's going to take 2 episodes?
I think so. The impression I've gotten is that it is going to be like 40 solid minutes of battle. And his one of the writers was like, man, he was like, well, you have to intermix like human interactions to make that interesting. And they looked at the biggest and best battles in film history, including Helm's Deep. And there was one older like ninja, some ninja assassin movie that he watched, and he was just like, it kept me engaged for that long. And he's like, that's where we need to end it. So a lot of other stuff is going to happen, but that's what makes me feel like the ramifications, the beginning, middle, and end is not all going to take place in one episode.
As long as it's as good as like the final game in Space Jam, I'll be.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like there has to be that halftime where Mike's secret stuff is brought out. And...
Like John is running, he's running to stab the Night King, and then all the other like walkers are just grabbing his legs, and he just has to stretch himself out really far to stab the Night King. So I mean, I'm definitely interested to see where it goes. Obviously, like I think there's some good setup stuff that happened. Yeah, man.
I didn't think this episode was bad. Like there's definitely been worse episodes of Game of Thrones for me. But it was just kind of there. It wasn't but I think the big letdown is considering what happened, I should have felt a lot more, I feel like.
Yeah.
Did we miss anyone? Did we miss anything? We didn't talk about...
Jamie gets there.
Jamie gets there.
Oh, that was a good way to end. That was actually... Yeah. I was really sad it was over, but I was like, that's a pretty... He locks eyes with Brand. I don't think Brand cares. He's like, yeah, you pushed me out of a window
actually...
one time.
I mean, it was a reunion I was expecting was going to happen. I would have never guessed it would have been his first person he saw, and I think that's a really smart, interesting move.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I hope that they start from right there. Because I want to see that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, Davos and Tyrion and Varys kind of assumed their eternal roles as
side characters.
Yeah, just outside the spotlight. No, I liked it. I'm not saying that's bad. I just there's not like a whole lot to discuss with
they
them,
talked about like, those two should get married. Like, yeah, we know. Makes sense.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I just want, at the end of this, just a round table of all of Tyrion's homies. I just want them all to get drunk together and just talk. But anyway, sorry, what were you going to say?
We were talking about Tyrion and Sansa's reunion, which...
we should talk about that.
Man, I kind of wish there was a little more there for that one, too. I wish Tyrion would have just come in and be like, dude, you will never guess what happened after you left. Yeah. Shay, bitch betrayed me. I killed her. I killed my dad. Like,
I can understand him. I don't know, because that stuff is so far in the past, but he was a little pissed. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, you left. And then everyone was like, yeah, it must have been you. And if you would have been there, probably wouldn't have been a bigger problem.
The scene made me hate Sansa just that much more. Like, out of all the things she did this episode, I can, like, see her side of things a little more. That one, I was like, really? You guys, I feel like we're a little bit, like, had more mutual respect than that.
Yeah, and that's kind of a bummer to me, too. Because I do think that is, like, a pretty, for what it is, a pretty positive relationship, and one where, like, a relationship in this show where someone really went out of their way for someone else, you know what I mean? Just even in their relationship, like, after they were married, and him basically being like, yeah, we just have to walk around and like make this look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so her reaction, I was a little confused by. I mean, she's way different. A bunch of shit's happened since then, but yeah, it was a little weird to me.
I like how she kind of called him out on like. I thought you were the cleverest man I knew, which is interesting because later Arya says Sansa's the smartest person she knows.
Yeah, and
people are just throwing those titles around way too much. None of you guys are that smart.
I liked the Sansa one. Arya calling her the smartest. I was like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. But yeah, so those, yeah, I think honestly for the most part, a lot of those interactions left me wanting more. And it's possible that the stuff I want they can't do because the foundation wasn't there. And hopefully this was that, and that is there. And yeah, from here on out, it'll be some more satisfying stuff that way. I guess we should talk about Tormund and Beric and Ed also. All alive, which I think that we knew from trailer.
Yeah, the trailer.
Yeah,
showed
Tormund
it.
was in the trailer. I had a pretty, like, at the end of last season, those guys can't die off screen. It just seemed like they were going to be alive. But yeah, they're walking around I think the furthest north castle, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
No, that was the Umbers.
Yeah, I think Deepwood Mott is one of the... Or maybe it's just the closest to Eastwatch?
Oh, wait, I thought you were talking about like a Night's Watch castle.
Oh, no, sorry. I meant the castle of a
northern
family.
house.
And those cowards who betrayed, recommitted, and betrayed again. Speaking of rom-coms, I was hoping it would be Dragonfeed, but instead they get to be like the... I loved when I noticed that the eyes turned blue on the kid stapled. I was like, that is awesome.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was super cool.
Yeah, I wonder what their role is. I guess they're going to try to beat the army to Winterfell.
They're just there to get there and be like, it's happening even sooner than we thought. You don't have to feed those armies for long because they here.
Yeah. And I feel like I guess I'm hoping that Beric does something big.
Yeah.
I want to see a grand exit from him.
He's got to have a bigger reason to be there.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, interesting.
He'll have a nice death, I think. I think he's gonna... Episode 3, Beric's gonna be dead. That's my guess.
Calling it. That's good.
Calling my shot.
Something I don't want... So, they kind of ended with that, tease for the next episode with them being like, oh, it's Jaime the Kingslayer. You know who you killed? You killed my dad. That's not cool. Like, I feel like we've had this conversation with her a few times.
Yeah.
She shouldn't care at this point. Like, at this point, especially... I don't know. If I was John, I mean, I get it. No one else has seen the Army of Dead like he has. But if I was John, man, I'd be so frustrated. I'd be like, yeah, people are still like trying to play the Game of Thrones while he's like, dude, I just want to be alive.
Yeah.
And
Plus, her dad, you're right. It's just these rehashings. John has to re-explain things. She has to, like, Danny, your dad was evil, and everyone else, you should know Jaime had to kill the Mad King because a lot of people think Rhaegar was already planning to usurp him. And guess what? He was going to blow up freaking King's Landing, so he really protected the realm. Maybe his job was to protect the king, but he made the right move. I don't know. It's like, if that's going to be what you're throwing against Jaime, it should more be like, you've been loyal to your sister for the last 5 years.
Does Danny know that at this point, too?
I don't know.
I mean, she knows that her dad was probably like a
there are some
dick,
things
but,
that
like,
don't bother me that it bothers me that people don't know.
She's
Yeah.
told,
People
she's
should
openly
know
said,
things.
like, she's like, I know my father was a terrible man.
Yeah.
I know, but does she know specifically? His encounter with Jaime? You know what I
gotcha.
mean? Like, there is stuff like that I'm like, okay, I get it. I guess at this point in the show, that is a frustration that we're running into as audience members. It's like, we've known this shit for 4 seasons, and now it's like people are being caught up, and it's being dangled like this dramatic thing, and it's like, I don't know, we already knew that. It's not like so it's a little unsatisfying that way too. But yeah, it'll be an interesting. I'm excited to see Jaime this season. I hope he makes a change that sticks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a change.
We didn't see Brienne this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
In one shot.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
was she?
was.
Yeah,
But she didn't
But
see
still
it all.
exceedingly disappointing for how much we
But I'm
wanted.
sure we'll see her next episode with
'cause Jaime's
Jaime being there.
Yeah.
I feel like we're missing some things, but I mean,
It's only one episode.
we've been all around the map.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes. I think a lot of nice reunions happened. A lot of table setting was done. And we got a few exciting moments mixed in. But I'm ready for shit to hit the fan
Yeah.
and see some people in action. It's going to be good.
Yeah. It'll be good. So, Winterfell, the battle at Winterfell.
Winterfell is yours, my lady.
Also, are we going to have to rename the Battle of the Bastards since John actually isn't a bastard?
The battle of the legitimized bastard and the guy who thought was a bastard but was never actually a bastard in the first place.
Yeah, we can actually fit that all. We'll just put an asterisk at the end, and we'll just put that.
Or
yeah,
the battle
inscribe that in
of
stone beneath it.
not bastards, but kind of thought of as bastards.
Battle of the Pouty Faces.
The battle of the two guys who look just like every other white dude under 25 on this show.
True.
Because, man, in the beginning, Theon, John, Rob, yeah. And if that Ramsay would have been there, would have confused him with him, too.
This is random. How old is Maisie Williams?
30.
I think she's 21.
She is incredibly short. Everyone talks about how short John is. Maisie Williams
Yeah.
is minuscule.
Yeah.
She's very small.
That girl's got to be like 4 feet tall.
She's 22 years old as of like a few days ago.
Oh, she can drink now.
And she's 5'1".
Oh, yeah. That's not quite as short as I
Okay,
thought.
well, you're a tall person.
But, I mean, but John's
To be
taller
fair,
than
he's never
man.
met her in person.
That's true.
Like we're all seeing her from the same height.
Yeah, all right.
TV is the great equalizer.
She's just a little shorter on screen for me than she is for all of you.
It's just like if you imagine 5'1", you're like, hello down there. And if I imagine 5'1", I'm like, okay, so if she puts on 6-inch heels, I'm still 3 inches taller. We could totally date.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, do we want to talk about the preview for the next one? We kind of talked about it. It looks like everyone's getting ready for the fight. Tormund's like, it's go time, mother effers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really all they showed, right?
They confront Jamie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jamie in front of
stuff.
the court.
Did
And
the-
Tyrion trying to... Tyrion and Dany having the same argument they've had like 10 times. You either trust him or you don't. I mean that for Tyrion. And he has screwed up. I was like, hey, if you don't trust him, okay.
Dude, Tyrion hasn't really been on the ball since
Season
Shay's
4?
death. Like, he hasn't done anything good. Everything he's done, he's screwed up, which I'm kind of bummed about from a writing standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I don't know. He's not what he once was. They aren't what they once were.
They ain't what
Life
they
is
once
disappointing.
were. Wow. Okay, well, thanks for joining Rewatchers on the Wall. Any other final thoughts?
Death comes to us all.
Oh, we should have Missandei and Grey Worm are just riding in and getting a lot of glares because apparently there's no black people in Winterfell.
Yeah, wow, I totally
Diversity
forgot about
isn't
that, yeah.
there.
Yeah, that was a weird. Yeah.
But then they kind of like cover that up, being like, "Oh, they just don't like outsiders."
Yeah.
Because they were giving Danny.
It's another way to say
We specifically
Yeah.
can tell that those two are exotic.
Yeah.
That's true.
It sure seems like all the people of color are in Essos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was always surprising me, like, when they showed, like, the captain of the Golden Company and everything. I'm
Right.
like, oh, it's a white guy. Like, that's your opportunity. I feel like in the books, it sounds like they're more...
The Golden Company comes from Westeros.
Oh, they do.
They're actually rooted from the Blackfire Rebellions, which is the rebellions of the bastards of one of the Targaryen kings.
Oh, well.
It's a really
Nerd
dope history.
alert.
Then I just got
Someone's been
put
That's
in my
right.
place.
Gal.
No, but yeah, no, that's good to know. But yeah, I feel like there's, like, the Iron Bank and stuff. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
there's some opportunities there to... that kind of almost like break lore because it's like, oh, it's convenient for you to cast more European people. I
Yeah.
don't know. And I'm not that guy who's like, oh, there's no,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it does seem it is a weird thing.
yeah.
There
No,
could be more representation.
Yeah.
I think there could be. Yeah.
Well, now that we've done our woke segment, I'm really excited for episode 2.
Yeah. I want to see the Night King. We also didn't see
Yeah.
the Night King in person. at
Oh,
all
right.
So
This
art.
episode. So saw his art.
Dude has a good eye
He
for
has been
things.
crafting.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. I don't think he's not breaking new ground like we've seen this before.
It doesn't speak to the darkest places in you.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to see I'd like to be challenged a little bit more by what I'm seeing.
I just want to see him organizing that. Be like, okay, you nail this here, and then yes, okay.
We need
he,
this
pull-
specific
he
shape.
pulls out a frozen beret that he places jauntily on his head.
And then the final touch, this boy, and there.
That kid deserves
And
it.
he'll come alive and scream, and it'll be perfect.
Yeah, I mean the way
It
that I
has
will
that.
say the way that he is bringing sculpture and theater together is intriguing. I just wish he was using more challenging imagery. I guess.
Okay. I'll
I
hear
like
it.
to think he was sitting on a hill, like watching with binoculars. He's like, "Okay, they're there," and then he just rose, woke the kid up.
He just winks one eye for this one.
I like to think he speaks like Andy Warhol.
No. Campbell's soup really speaks to consumerism in a way that.
Kind of felt like the Mines of Moria
A little,
in a small way.
Oh yeah,
So-
that whole
Yeah,
I can
whole
see that.
feeling.
Yeah,
but also Andy Warhol.
Here's a question. So in the trailer for season 8, we saw Arya running in the dark, like panting out
Right.
through hallways. The
She's
hallways
playing
look
hide and go
very similar to the hallways they were going through there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they just
I'm pretty
reused
sure that's in
walls for
Winterfell, yeah.
Winterfell or if it's there, you know? Which,
Oh,
because the walls were like the
know.
exact same type of, because I noticed because there's like these fake looking on the corners of all the walls, there's these different colored stones that just look really fake. And they had them there. I don't know if that's just a North thing, that lots of castles have that. Or,
it builds similarly.
yeah, interesting.
I really think she's running around Winterfell.
I think it's
I'm
Winterfell too, but
excited for it.
I just noticed that this episode, I was like, that would be weird to have them go back there. Why would they go back there?
Yeah.
True story. Well, hey, thanks for joining us and rewatching with us. Well, just watching.
Just watching. We're just watching.
I'll probably rewatch this before next week because this is the most exciting thing going on until Endgame comes out. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah. I'm on board with you. I'll probably watch it. Well, great.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
See you.